Check 1, 2, 3. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Motive Racing YouTube channel. We are back here on a Thursday night for our main event of our Project Cars 2 week. We are back for the Touring Car Championship here tonight at Snetterton 300 on the traditional, the longer configuration of Snetterton for what I'm sure is going to be a great night of action here tonight. And we're delighted to have 14 drivers out on the track here for this one. Unfortunately, a couple of drivers have dropped out of the championship. Ryan Ruby and TTV, or rather AIDS Fader, dropped out of the championship, so unfortunately we won't be seeing them for the rest of the season, but we've got plenty of drivers here out on track tonight who are ready to pit their wits against each other and try and take home some glory in this Touring Car Championship. So far this season we've seen quite a dominant display from Mike Gaming, who's been quickest in this practice session here by just under a tenth of a second, so not much of a gap between Mike Gaming and Jay. Jay obviously the champion from 2 seasons ago here for the touring cars. Mike Gaming is the reigning champion, but we're going to read out the championship standings coming into this round nonetheless. It's going to be a reverse grid based on the championship standings. Obviously, if anybody's listening to me, Big Blue will start at the back, so Ozzy or Emma or anybody listening to the stream, if you guys can just convey the message over for me. Big Blue is going to start from the back of the grid because he's jumped in as a reserve for tonight. So Big Blue, P14, and then everybody else in the same positions that you were before. Thanks for that. But yeah, nonetheless, we are going to go through the championship standings. Obviously, I just had to convey that message over because Big Blue joined during the practice. I know he's obviously signed up to our Discord. He's on our SLP database, and I thought, why not send him an invite, seeing as he's online and he's jumped in, so that's good to see. But nonetheless, that is your practice session leaderboard. Mike Gaming doing the fastest time, but only a tenth and a half separating the top 3, Mike, Jay and Cobb. So it's going to be a great race here. Let's go to the first race of the night then. Let's continue. We are just going to go to a very quick little flyer for our sponsors, Revolt Detailer, or revoltdetailer.com is the website where you can check out all of their products, sponsored by our very own Leo Revolt Detailer, who will be lining up, I think, I can't remember where he's actually lining up. I think it's, where will he be lining up? He'll be lining up in 4th tonight, so he's got a good chance of getting a good result. But nonetheless, yeah, we're going to go to a quick little video here for our sponsors. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to go racing here. Hopefully everybody's going to ready up because somebody's left it very late here to ready up. Yeah, we have ready up, so we are all going. So here we are on the formation lap, getting ready to go racing here. This is obviously race 4 of 18 for the entire season. It's an 18 race season with 3 races per round. Obviously a 6-week season, 6 rounds. So altogether there's going to be a lot of racing here for these touring cars this season. We've got Park Booper, who's leading us around from pole position. obviously was racing as a reserve last week, but I'm going to put, unless he objects, I'm going to put him in as a regular driver for this touring car championship, because he's always here, he's always around, so it makes perfect sense. Captain Harlock in second, also raced as a reserve last week, but he's now a permanent driver as of tonight. I've moved him up to a permanency in the championship. He will start in second place ahead of Connor Boylan, who's been driving it with us now for a couple of seasons. Has been with us since the resurgence, since the reformation of the Project Cars 2 leagues at Motive. He'll be starting in third place. Revolt Detailer, our sponsor for the championship, Leo, great guy to have in the community, always jumping in our practice lobbies and in and around the place. He's in fourth ahead of Aussie Albie, who's been one of our main sort of stalwarts, if you like, of the Project Cars 2 community here at Motive. He obviously was a founding member as well. He was in the community when it started out. He was one of the first drivers to get involved in this community. He's also one of the people who encouraged me to do it. Craig in P6, one of our oldest drivers here. Emmaford lining up behind him ahead of Charlie Goff. You got Nick Villa ahead of John Boy, who's the two-time champion. Oh no! As I say that, what is going on, John Boy? Come on. Come on, I'm bigging you up, and you do that. John Boy, two-time champion of the touring cars. I'm not sure who's driving his car at the moment, but he was lining up in P10 ahead of Jay, who was the champion from 2 seasons ago, in 11th place. Cobb, P12, former GT3 Tier 2 champion here at Motive. Mike Gaming, the reigning touring car and Clio Cup champion. Big Blue has been racing with us for a few races over the course of the last season or so. He'll be lining up in the BMW. He always seems to go better in the BMW than he does in the Megane, so watch out for Big Blue. He could be a force to be reckoned with here tonight. But Park Pooper Rex coming through the final few corners. We're about to go racing here tonight for the race 4 of the season here for the Touring Car Championship. When Park Pooper Rex puts his foot to the floor, we will be officially underway. Is he going to wait for everybody to come out of the last corner, or is he going to try and catch him off guard here? Just doing a bit of weaving around. And here we go. We're underway now. Park Pooper Rex puts his foot to the floor, and we are racing here up towards the line we come. So now it's green. As Captain Harlock there in second place has got Connor right behind him. Obviously the BMWs don't get the advantage off the line that they'd get on a standing start. You've got Revolt Detail of Aussie Albie, followed by Craig, Emma for Charlie ahead of Nick Lavilla, followed by John Boy, who caught over the curve a little bit there, coming through turn 1. Cobb ahead of Mike, getting ahead of Big Blue. No position changes so far as they're coming through the hairpin for the first time. Although Connor has got a heck of a run here on Captain Harlock, looking to the outside here, coming to turn 2. Can Connor get this move done? Captain Harlock's going to have the inside for turn 3, and we'll hold on to that one just about, but Connor's going to keep it around the outside. Can't get it done, tucks in for the time being. Roll Detail here looking to the inside of Connor. Can he try and mud Connor whilst he's focusing on what's in front of him and completely oblivious to what's going on behind him? No, he can't. As he's gone wide as Connor though, and that will allow the Roll Detail to sit on the inside. Oh, Roll Detail just a bit aggressive there, tagging the back of Captain Harlock. Captain Harlock keeping it around the outside there. Now Connor's going to get back around the outside, and Roll Detailer is going to have to watch out because Aussie Albie's looking on the back of him. Oh no! And Roll Detailer just unfortunately there just pushes Connor wide. Connor's onto the grass and it's down to last place here on this opening lap. But absolute chaos there as we just saw them two. They were side by side into the corner, and Revolt Detail just went a bit wide, took a wide line. You've got Captain Harlock who's just way ahead. Now, Emmaford has had a collision there with one of the other McGanns, and Revolt Detail has spun off now as well. He's all over the grass and skidding to a halt there. What is going on in this opening lap? Park Pooper leading ahead of Captain Harlock, followed by Craig, who's now into third place. Aussie Albie, look at these cars, look at this traffic. Oh, and it's been a disastrous opening lap. Jake spins out and is off coming through the chicane, and he's now well off at the back of this mid-pack battle, and this is absolute chaos here on this opening lap as Craig now leads the battle for the podium spot. So you've got Nick Lavilla ahead of Charlie. Charlie's trying to go around the outside of Nick Lavilla here through the bomb hole. Into the final corner they come. They're going to be side by side, bit of door banging between the two of them as Nick Lavilla holds it around the outside there. Charlie loses out there to Mike Gaming, and Mike's up into 5th place. But this is unbelievable stuff here on this opening lap. Charlie there ahead of Cobb, followed by John Boy. You've got Aussie Albie ahead of Big Blue, who's made himself into 10th place here on his opening lap. He's gained 4 places as you've got Jay in 11th after that spin coming through the chicane. You've got Revolt Detail ahead of Connor, followed by Emmaford, who's running in P14 in this race. But Park Pooper Rex has managed to make a bit of a break for it at the start. Captain Harlock's not let him off the hook so far, but absolute carnage here on this opening lap. We saw so many cars off. Charlie going a little bit wide out of turn 2, just ahead of Cobb and John Boy. Big Blue ahead of Aussie Albie, followed by Jay. There's Revolt Detailer. Connor there in the background is just ahead of Amafford, who's had a nightmare of a start to the race as well. He is down to 14th place and really struggling here in his early stages, but it's currently Craig still trying to weather this storm from Nittavilla. A bit of a lock up there, coming into the hairpin there. As we can see, he was just having a look up the inside, was a little bit too far back as they now come through the second of these double left-handers and up towards the final part of the track into Oggies. Then we come, and Nittavilla still looking around the outside here of Craig. Craig goes a bit deep into the corner, and that will allow Nittavilla up the inside. Can Mike maybe squeeze through as well? Mike's got the run here on Craig, and Mike just sneaks through there. Craig's gone wide, he's gone really wide. That will allow Charlie up the inside as well as Cobb, and John Boy might fancy his chances coming down the back straight as well. So Craig could potentially lose 4 places here in the space of a few hundred metres, but Nick's still in third ahead of Mike, followed by Charlie, Cobb, Craig and John Boy. Hasn't quite got enough of a run there on Craig to get the move done coming into the chicane, but he tucks in for the time being there. Lives to fight another day. Jay's closing on the leaders. He's now in 9th place, but he's only 10 seconds up for the lead. You've got Big Blue there in 11th, followed by Aussie Albie, as we see Revolt Detail a little bit wide there on the exit of the chicane. Keeping it together though, as Amafford has got ahead of Connor up into 13th place, so that's job done there for Amafford. In the meantime though, Captain Harlock is driving a crack over race at the front. He is keeping Parpuba Rex honest here as they're coming over the line to complete lap 3 of the race. Captain Harlock very much keeping Parpuba on his toes. It's been a great performance tonight so far from Captain Harlock. Really impressed on his debut last week at Brands Hatch, and so far tonight at Snetterton it's been a continuation of that form. Nick, Mike, Charlie, Cobb, Craig there and John Boy, and then you've got Jay there in the background there, followed by Big Blue, Aussie, Revolt Detailer, and then Emma and Connor well off at the back of the rest of them right now. But Captain Harlock is absolutely hassling the back of Parpuba Rex here. Look at this. He is really giving us some in his early stages. It's been a really impressive job here from Captain Harlock, and he's got a run here. Parpuba Rex goes really wide, and Captain Harlock takes the lead of the race in that BMW. Captain Harlock P1. These guys 4 seconds clear of Nick and Mike, who are battling as Mike looking down the inside here. Sorry, looking around the outside, should I say, of Nick Lavilla. Nick Lavilla can't keep it there. Mike sweeps around the outside up into the podium spots. Charlie and Cobb in the background ahead of Craig, followed by John Boy. This is a 5-car battle here, battling over 3rd place, but Mike now hits the front of that pack, and now we'll try and bridge that gap to these 2 leaders. So they've got to watch out because they've got the championship lead. Oh, Mike gets it all wrong there, coming to the first of the double right-handers, and he loses out to Nick Lavilla. So Nick Lavilla's back up to 3rd place there. Can Charlie capitalise on this? He can, and Charlie Goff is up into 4th place. So Mike Gaming making a bit of an uncharacteristic error there. Mike will have to run though, coming down the back straight. Got a better run out of the corner, seeing as he was on the outside. Charlie Goff had to scrub a bit of the speed there as they came on the exit of the corner, and Mike Gaming will have the inside for the first part of the chicane and should have 4th place back unless he has to take too much of a tight line into the corner. No, he doesn't. Oh, Charlie gets it wrong into the wall, and that will have a bit of damage there on the front of the car. Charlie Goff there drops down to 8th place. Mike ahead of Cobb, followed by Craig, John Boy, and there's Charlie dropping into the clutches of Jay. And Jay, I tell you what, Jay's lapping quite quickly right now. He's lapping at the same pace as the leaders, but on this lap so far he's really gained. He's only 8 seconds off for the lead now, so Jay is flying at the moment as Captain and Parpuba are still battling over the lead of the race as they're coming over to complete that 4/10 of a second separating these two. But Parpuba is not dropped off the back of Captain Harlock, despite Captain Harlock seizing the lead off of him on that lap. You've got Nick Lavilla trying to defend here from Mike Gaming again, coming into turn 1. Mike looking around the outside, but Nick Lavilla's got that move held onto for the time being, and it's as you were between those two. As we come now into turn 2, can Mike have a look up the inside here? And Mike's actually got Cobb looking up his inside into turn 2, but he's too far back. Mike goes a bit deep into the corner. Cobb not able to get it done there. Craig has now got heavy pressure here from John Boy as well, and John Boy looking to try and get something done here in the early stages of this race too in that Merc. But Merc, he was saying earlier on that John Boy doesn't feel like he's able to be competitive in the Merc like he is in the Megane. Obviously last season went for the BMW. I think he enjoys the Merc more than the BMW, but he still doesn't feel fully comfortable in a car that isn't the Megane. He obviously won the championship twice in the Megane, came very close to winning the championship in the Merc a few seasons ago, but came runner-up in the Merc. He's never actually won the championship in the touring cars in a car that wasn't the Megane. He came tantalisingly close in season 6 in the Mercedes, and I myself actually went into that title decider with a chance of winning it. That was one of the few seasons that I got to race. That was back in the day when you had Matt, Dan and Kelly doing the comms, but right now you got John Boy right on the back of Craig here in his battle for 6th place. You've got Captain Harlock there just under a second clear of Parpuba right now. Nick Lavilla has still got Mike he's just keeping Mike at arm's length at the moment. Cobb there running in 5th place just behind these guys, trying to keep with him if he can, but it's an interesting fight here for 3rd place, and the battle for the lead looks to have petered out a little bit now with Captain Harlock opening up over a second of a gap here. Oh, it's gone wide, really wide. That will allow Parpuba right on the back of him here. Captain Harlock just survived drives and keeps on saying, oh, Park Pooper's done the same thing. Oh, you couldn't write it. Park Pooper Rex goes wide, coming through on the exit of the bomb hole. He might lose out here. He's going to cut the exit of the corner, but he'd probably get a slowdown penalty for that. And Nick the Villa and Mike are now going to seize on that and take P2 and 3 respectively here. But I tell you what, Park Pooper really did take advantage of the track limits there. Or Mike might not actually get ahead of him here as they come into turn 1, as he's got Nick the Villa right in front of him. No, he does manage to squeeze through ahead of Park Pooper. Park Pooper loses 2 places there, but it could have been so much worse if he hadn't managed to control it on the grass. But Mike squeezes through, and now Park Pooper is in between Nick and Mike and Cobb behind them. Craig is not too far off of these guys, ahead of Jay, sorry. Jay's got ahead of John Boy. John Boy's now down in 8th, so he must have made a mistake there on that previous lap, because now Jay is into 7th place ahead of him. But this is absolutely chaotic right now, what we're seeing. It's great racing, but Nick ahead of Mike, ahead of Park Pooper, followed by Cobb. This is the battle for second place. 4 cars currently going at it here. They're now 2 seconds behind Captain Harlock, who's trying to get away whilst he can, whilst he hasn't got pressure on him. I'll tell you what, he's doing a great job of it at the moment. He is really doing a superb race so far. But what a race we've seen. As we can see, we've got Ryan Racing saying, hello sexy voice, hello Ryan. Shame you couldn't join us for the touring cars this season. I know that you moved on to, I know that you feel like it's a bit easy nowadays, obviously racing with us PlayStation peasants, but good to see you. Nice of you to check in with us anyway. I also got Seb there saying, nice have a cheers mate, thank you. I made it actually very last minute last week, and I meant to make a longer one this week, but I didn't have time to do it, so I haven't had a chance to really. But nonetheless, Captain Harlock still leading the race ahead of Nick Villa, followed by Michael. We saw a bit of a slide there from Cobb, held onto it though very nicely, but Cobb has just dropped off for this battle for second and third places with Park Pooper in front of him. Oh no, what's going on there? Craig's lost it. Oh, Craig completely dropped it there coming into the bomb hole, and he hits the wall as well. He's going to have damage on the car. That's going to really affect his race, as we got to see John Boy up into 7th place. John Boy's made another mistake. He's dropped more time to the battle for the podium places, but currently Nick the Villa still sat in second ahead of Mike, and these two have gapped Park Pooper, Cobb and Jay just a little bit. Jay's now arriving in this battle here for 4th place, but he'll see that the podiums are maybe slipping away a little bit over the course of this sprint race, as you've got Park Pooper there going through turn 1 with Cobb right on the back of him here, as then I'm coming down towards turn 2. Mick and Mike are still battling out of his second place, as Cobb's looking to send one here with Park Pooper, and he makes the move stick there. Great move from Cobb, very opportunistic. Now Jay's going to try and squeeze through and pushes Park Pooper to the edge of the track, but Park Pooper's got the inside here for turn 3. Can he get it back up the inside? He squeezes through and just edges Jay out wide a little bit there, and Cobb is back up, Park Pooper's back up into 5th place there. Cobb there up into 4th ahead of both of them, and Nick and Mike are still batting over 2nd and 3rd places, and they're still closing on Captain Harlock as well. So they continue to chip away to the race leader, who continues to do what he needs to do, but he's going to see a charging cavalry coming behind him of these two, Nick and Mike, as these two are now well ahead of Mike and of Jay and Cobb, as Mike just sneaks up the inside there of Nick the Villa. Nick the Villa got a little bit wrong there, coming to the first of the right-handers, and that is now Mike up into 2nd place. Jay still ahead of Cobb in the battle for 4th place. You've got Park Pooper has managed to keep on to the back of these guys as well, but Jay making the move on both of them up into 4th place, and Captain Harlock still holding this lead, but he'll be hoping that Mike and Nick can continue to battle each other, because the more they battle each other, the more it gives Captain Harlock a chance to take a very impressive win here in only his 4th ever race here at Motive. He made his debut last week, raced in all 3 races last week at Brands Hatch for the season opener in the touring cars, and what a race he is driving here tonight here at Snetterton. I'm really impressed with Captain Harlock and the way he has burst onto the scene. Mike ahead of Nick, these two still battling over 2nd and 3rd places, followed by Jay, who's running in 4th place ahead of Cobb, followed by Park Pooper there, who's just behind them in P6. There's John Boy going through the final corner there in 7th place, then a couple of seconds back to Ozzy, who's just ahead of Charlie Goff. Craig there running in 10th place ahead of M. Afford, followed by Big Blue. Then you got Revolt Detailer and Connor a long way behind there in 14th position, but Captain Harlock's just opened up a bit more of a gap to Mike and Nick over the last lap. It's now over 2 seconds between Captain Harlock and Mike, as Mike goes a bit deep into turn 2. I'll tell you what, he's really struggled tonight through there. Now Nick's going to be a little bit closer to him, can pile that pressure on potentially, but we've only got 5 minutes left in this race. We're probably, I would hazard a guess or an estimate that we're probably going to have, it's going to be, I'll tell you what, it's going to be really close. It's going to be either 3 or 4 more laps, including this one. So it might only be 2.5 laps, but it could be 3.5 laps to go here in this race. It's going to be very close to see what it's going to be, but right now these two, couple of seconds behind Captain Harlock. Captain Harlock's currently doing what he has to do 2. At the moment, it's advantage him, but Nick Levilla's still trying to find a way back through ahead of Mike. Mike's just kept it by the skin of his teeth since getting ahead of him. We've got Cobb there running in 4th. He's now got back ahead of Jay, so these two going at it here for 4th place. These two without any slowdown penalties or time penalties. You've got John Boy, M. Afford and Revolt Detail have all picked up time penalties over the course of this race, so they'll obviously lose a bit of they'll lose maybe a place or two, or potentially they might get lucky and they might have a gap to the car behind. But Captain Harlock is still leading the race by a second and a half here ahead of Mike and Nick, as these two coming through the chicane right now. That's right on board with Nick Levilla, as we can see. He's right on the back of Mike Gaming here as we're coming to the final few corners. Now, are we going to have 2 or 3 more laps in this race? If we cross the line with 3 minutes 48 on the clock, then we're probably going to have another lap after this. So Captain Harlock here coming up towards the line. Let's keep an eye on that timing board, because that's going to tell us everything we need to know here. Captain Harlock coming over the line. Oh, it's going to be very, very close, I can tell you that. 3:51 as he crossed over the line. He's going to be so close. I reckon we're going to have 3 more laps in this race. I reckon they're going to cross the line and start an extra lap after this. So Captain Harlock's now going to have to really fight for this one. Mike and Nick have been charging after him. Unless these two trip over each other and have a little mistake and have a little bit of a ding-dong, I reckon that it's going to be 3 more laps here in this race. Now Captain Harlock needs to shift his focus. He needs to stop thinking about how he can outpace and try and keep the gap. He needs to start thinking about how he can defend this position. That's going to be his best opportunity of winning this race. I was saying it on Monday night in the Clio Cup for the race 3 of the evening, when we saw Jay manage to defend his position. He managed to keep the lead ahead of Mike for over half the race. Mike was on the back of him, but Jay just parked his car in all the right places, wasn't trying to outpace him, wasn't trying to put him or pull away from him. He was just making sure that his car was as wide as possible and that there were no gaps forming. And if Captain Harlock can do that, he will be able to take this win. But we're coming through the final part of this lap here. We're about to start what could be the penultimate lap, it could be the final lap, we're not quite sure just yet. But Captain Harlock at the moment with just about under a second of a gap here over Mike Gaming. Nick Levilla there running in 3rd place. He's got a bit of a gap back to Cobb, who's managed to gap Jay by a couple of seconds. Park over there running in P6 after such a promising start to this race. He's a couple of seconds ahead of John Boy in 7th place. Bit of a gap back towards the LB, who's about 4 seconds clear of Charlie. Not been the race for him tonight. Craig there running in P10 ahead of Revolt Detailer. M. Afford ahead of Connor, followed by Big Blue, who completes the classification right now. But here is your race leader, Captain Harlock, coming through the final corner right now, and he's about to start what could be the penultimate lap, or it could be the final lap. We'll have to see as he's now coming up towards the line. Let's see what the timer says. It's 1:57, so we're definitely going to have 2 more laps. This is far from over, this race. But Captain Harlock, to be fair, he responded to Mike's pressure on that last lap. Mike only gained 4/10 on him, so if Captain Harlock can continue to lap at this pace, as long as he's not overexerting himself and making mistakes, he will have a good chance of holding on to this win. Mike Gaming has won plenty of races in the Touring Car Championship and the Clio Cup, and indeed at Motive in general over the last few seasons. Can Captain Harlock hold him off and take his first ever victory tonight? Nick Levilla's made a bit of a mistake. I think he had a slowdown there coming out of turn 2. He's now dropped off of this battle, so Mike is now free to have a crack at Captain Harlock without any distractions, without any sort of having to defend from Nick Levilla. He can just fully focus on what's in front of him here and not have to concern himself with any pressure from behind. And now Mike Gaming is going to throw the kitchen sink at Captain Harlock in this final lap and a half. You can be sure of that, as he once again locks up through that corner. Mike seems to struggle into that corner and also turn 2. There's 2 corners on this track where Mike seems to not have the pace, or doesn't seem to have the confidence in the car. Captain Harlock just putting out a bit of a gap here, and he will pull away coming down this back straight because the BMW has got the top end over them again. But at this point in time, is Captain Harlock still leading your race, and he's gone 2/10 quicker on this lap so far as the fuel load started to line. Obviously the cars start to get that little bit quicker, and Captain Harlock just gaining in confidence, but Mike Gaming doing the same thing. He's within half a second of him as they're now coming through the final few corners. This is race on. Oh, it's Captain Harlock. Oh, he gets it back on the track. That was so close, but he might have a slowdown penalty for that. that would be a very harsh slowdown penalty because he did not gain any time at all. He lost time to Mike there through that part of the track with that running wide. Hopefully he doesn't get a slowdown penalty for that. That would be a travesty if he does, and it would ruin this race. Captain Harlock still holding on to the lead there, but he almost got it wrong. He did really well to hold on to that. I tell you what, that was expert saving there from Captain Harlock. He still holds the lead, a slender lead here as they're on the final lap of the race. Now Captain Harlock's trying to defend from the inside. As Mike looks to the outside, he's all over the grass there. Coming out of turn 1 into turn 2. Mike gets it all wrong as Captain Harlock defends the inside line. He's now going to cover that off as he now runs Mike to the edge of the track, but Mike's got him around the outside. And Mike Gaming might have this move done here. The side by side into turn 2. Mike Gaming makes the move for the lead. Captain Harlock, can he come back at him here coming down to turn 4? No, he can't. Mike Gaming's got the move done. And finally on the final lap of the race, Mike Gaming has hunted down Captain Harlock. Now Captain Harlock looks back to the outside here as he now come round into the hairpin, but he's not got the run. Mike Gaming has now seized the initiative here. There's a couple of corners coming up here that Mike Gaming has struggled with on the over the course of this race. Can Captain Harlock put the pressure on him and be there to capitalise potentially if Mike Gaming doesn't get it right? Mike absolutely nails the right hander this time around, and Captain Harlock, I think, has got one more chance down the straight. He'll have the speed, but he's got pressure here from Nick the Villa now, as Nick the Villa's looking all over the back of him as well. But Mike Gaming, what a performance from him, has managed to claw that gap down and put the pressure on Captain Harlock. He sees the lead on the final lap of the race. Captain Harlock now has to defend from Nick the Villa in the battle for second place, but Mike Gaming, your touring car champion and obviously your championship leader for this season, Captain Harlock goes wide and Nick the Villa's going to seize on that up into second place, and Captain Harlock down to P3 on the final lap of the race. But Mike Gaming coming into the bomb hole, what a job it's been from him, and he's going to make it 4 wins out of 5 so far this season in the touring cars at Motive. As into the final corner he comes. He really did have to fight for this one, but he's earned his bacon here tonight. Mike Gaming up towards the line. We've lost a driver here on the final lap. I'm not sure why, but Mike Gaming up towards the line to take P1. What a job there from him. Nick the Villa second place. Captain Harlock completes the podium. What a shame there for Captain Harlock. I feel desperately sorry for him because he came so close to taking a victory in only his 4th ever appearance here, or 2nd appearance, but 4th ever race. Cobb there takes 4th place ahead of Jay in 5th. Park Poop is 6th ahead of John Boy 7th, followed by Ozzy, who's going to come up towards the line, and it's going to be an 8th place finish here for Ozzy Albius. He comes over. Charlie Goff is going to take 9th place, not the race for him at all. Craig there, P10 in the end, ahead of Revolve Detail, who will take 11th place, and he's a few seconds clear of M. Afford, who will come over to take P12. Connor, 13th in the end. Big Blue, I think, retired from the race on that final lap of the race, so he'll still start from pole, because unless he doesn't want to, I think that might be why he retired. We'll find out in a minute. But nonetheless, Mike Gaming your winner, ahead of Nick the Villa, ahead of Captain Harlock. Great job from Captain Harlock. So impressed with him tonight, and hopefully he can keep it up for the next 2 races of the night. But we've got 2 more races to go, guys. 2 more spin races. We're going to go to a quick advert for our sponsors, and we'll be back in a minute.
Sometimes and I can't seem to find the light between the walls I built for myself right in my mind. And then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. Now I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I, just you.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
I get lost sometimes and I can't seem to find a light between the walls walls I built for myself right in my mind. And then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. Now, when I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I. Only you can put the fire out. You can turn it all around. You can lift me off the ground, so we can fly again. 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 I've been trying hard not to go out of my mind. And all I need right now is for you to stay the night. But if you keep saying that you've got to leave, then I'm gonna be alright. As long as you tell me that we ain't running out of time. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I. Only you can put the fire out. You can turn it all around. And you can lift me off the ground, so we can fly again. 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 So we can fly again.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here for for the second race of the night. This is the qualifying session. The only qualifying session here for the Touring Car Championship is the middle race of the evening. So it's a 5-minute qualifying, literally just to get out there, see what you can do, and try and put yourself as high up the grid as possible. This is the one situation where raw pace really comes into it for this evening, and after that we're going to have the second of 3 sprint races. The final sprint race of the evening will be a reverse grid based on the results from this race. But first of all, let's see who's got the speed here tonight. We know that Jay is obviously very quick here around this Snetterton 300 circuit. Obviously we've got Mike as well on the pace. What can John Boy do in the Mercedes? So many drivers. Jay there gets it all wrong. Oh, hopefully he hasn't got damage on the car. He absolutely walloped the curb there, or the sausage curb, as he came through the chicane, but keeps it going at the moment. But Mike Gaming there taking the win in the first race, managed to hunt down Captain Harlock and deny him of his first ever victory. What a shame for Captain Harlock, but what a performance from him in that first race, and I'm sure he'll take confidence from that coming into this second race of the night. Let's see what time's coming on the board here. Nick Lavilla puts in a 54 dead. You got Cobb there 54.2. Mike Gaming does a 53.4 and goes to the top of the pile. Jay obviously 58.5 with that mistake. Captain Harlock, what can he do? He goes P4 on a 54.8. So the time's coming in thick and fast at the moment. What's John Boy doing at the moment? That's Connor there coming through the final corner. Actually, let's see what Connor can do, as he's got a car just up ahead of him as well. Only one driver in the pits. That's Part People X. So it looks like he's still going to be starting from the back by the looks of it. But Connor up towards the line, and let's see what he can do as he comes over. P7 there for Connor, so he's 4.5 seconds off of the pace at the moment. But Mike Gaming still your man at the top, as Ryan says Andy Big Blue isn't signed up for the race, by the way. Yeah, I know, mate, it's fine. He's on the SLP database, so I can add him to it myself. I can do it myself, it's fine. As long as people have signed up to races in the past, I can add them to the races. I don't mind. The only issue I have is inviting people who aren't on SLP, because then you can't even sort of do anything. Ryan says Jay's new name is Jumping Jay. Ryan, mate, if you're on the stream tonight, why aren't you here racing? Like, just race, man. Why did you pull out of the championship? It makes me sad. I tell you why it makes me feel sad. It makes me feel sad seeing that you're in the chat when you could have been racing. Like, I'm sad that you pulled out. You'd love it. You love the touring cars. But nonetheless, we've got Nick Lavilla coming through the final few corners here of this lap. He's currently on his half second behind Mike at the moment. Let's see what he can do as he's coming through the final corner. Taxed the curb a bit there. I tell you what, he really walloped it, didn't he? Up towards the line he comes. Can Nick Lavilla get a little bit closer to Mike? Can he even get pole position here as he's coming up towards the line? What is it going to be for Nick Lavilla? He goes a tenth short there of Mike Gaming, so 53.6. What else is going on here? You've got Jay going up into P3 there. Solid lap there from Jay. Not his best, not what he's capable of, but he's right in the mix there, is Jay. What else is going on right now? You can see Cobb's gone. Cobb was already P4. Captain Harlock's coming up towards the line. Emafford's gone P6. Charlie's still out there. He's coming up towards the line now. What about Captain Harlock? Captain Harlock comes over and stays P5, but he doesn't improve, sorry. Charlie got P7. Can he improve? He does improve, but not by enough. Craig's coming through the bomb hole. Revolt Detail is done for the session. Connor up towards the line. He does improve by a second and a half. Goes P8. Nice lap there from Connor at the end. Big Blue, John Boy, Aussie and Part People all in the pits. It's now going to be on just Craig to complete his lap, and then that's going to be it for qualifying. And Craig goes P8 there, so he did move up one position. Oh, Ryan says he can't race until the monitor's here. Okay, fair play, mate. Cheers, mate. Thank you for updating the standings. Legend. Absolute legend. I do love you, Ryan. So that is that then for the... No homo. But that's the qualifying session done. Mike Gaming taking pole ahead of Nick Lavilla. Jay in third, followed by Cobb fourth. And that's your front two rows. You can read the rest down to Captain Harley, Emafford, Charlie in, Craig ahead of Craig, followed by Connor, Revolt Detailer. And then you've got Big Blue, followed by John Boy with Aussie and a Part People completing classification. Also, big shout out to Archie tonight in the comments saying good luck, lads. We're going to go to a very short break, guys, to just advertise Revolt Detailer and their products, obviously as sponsors of this Touring Car Championship.
You show me love that I never had seen before. Now, when I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I.
it's lights out. We're underway for the second race of the night. As we can see, we've got Nick making quite a good start off the line. You've got Jay also attacking as Captain Harlock has got an absolute flyer. He's looking down the inside into turn one. In the BMW, you're always getting good off the line, but unable to get the move done on the inside there. As we can see, Nick Levilla backing out. Oh, sorry, Nick Levilla leading the race, but Jay backing out on the move ahead of Mike. As you can see now, Jay looking down the inside of turn two. Mike holds on to second place for the time being. Captain Harlock goes a bit wide and he might lose out to Cobb. Cobb's got a little bit alongside him there, but Captain Harlock keeps it down the outside up towards turn three for the time being. You've got Mike ahead of Charlie. Charlie's on the inside of Big Blue there. As you can see, John Boy ahead of Craig, followed by Revolt Diesel, a Park Pooper, Connor and Aussie Albie at the back. As Craig there has just had to back out of that move there on Revolt Detailer. But Nick there ahead of Mike, followed by Jay. They're the top three. They've got about a second back to Cobb at the moment. As Captain Harlock's got M. Afford looking down his inside. M. Afford can't quite get the move done on the inside of him at the moment. He had Charlie there in 7th place. John Boy there in P8 ahead of Revolt Detailer. As Connor's got ahead of Craig up into P10. Sorry, P11 should I say. But he goes wide. Connor's gone ever so wide. Carried far too much speed into the corner. And he's gone down to 14th place there with that little exploit. You've got Nick Levilla still leading the race ahead of Mike by 0.2 of a second. Oh, it's Jay wide all over the grass there, coming out onto the back straight. And that would have lost a bit of time here as Cobb is not a little bit too far away from him to really capitalise. But you've got currently Captain Harlock just ahead of Emma, followed by Charlie. John Boy ahead of Revolt Detailer. It's a very close battle here for all the way down from all the way down from 5th downwards. Oh, somebody's gone wide coming through the chicane. What's happened? Who's gone wide? Is that M. Afford? It was M. Afford who went wide coming through the chicane. Now he's going to have to watch out because he's got Big Blue on the back of him as well. But Craig also was looking up the inside of him as well. But M. Afford there keeping ahead somehow. I don't know how. As Craig here is going to try and move ahead of Big Blue as well. Big Blue losing a couple of places there. Nick Levilla leads ahead of Mike though. These guys 0.2 of a second apart as they're now coming over the line to complete lap one. You've got these two just gapping Jay by about a second here at the start. You've got Captain Harlock there. It's dropped off a little bit. He's now got Cobb pressuring him for 4th place. John Boy ahead of Charlie. There's Revolt Detailer in 8th place. M. Afford there in 9th ahead of Craig, followed by Big Blue. You've got Aussie Albie ahead of Park Pooper and Connor as he disconnected. I think he might have disconnected here. Connor's not moving, so he is stationary on the exit of the final corner, and I don't think he's in the race still. No, he is gone. He has left the race, but he's not disconnected from the lobby, I don't think. Yes, he has disconnected. So Connor unfortunately out of the race here on lap 2. Nick Levilla though is facing heavy pressure here from Mike as Mike's looking to the outside on Nick, but Nick covers the inside line for the time being, just about keeping on to that one. Jay there in 3rd head of Captain Harlock, but look at this is absolutely brilliant right now. So much action going on here in the touring cars. Always is the way. You can always bank on there being plenty of stuff to look at over the course of a touring car race here at Motive. Oh, Jay getting it wrong there, coming through the first of the right-handers, gets it onto the grass, keeps it on the track. Hopefully he doesn't get a slowdown penalty, but you know what this game's like, it probably is going to give him one. But Nick's still battling it out with Mike at the moment as these two look like they're going to be side by side here, coming down to the end of the back straight towards the chicane. As you see, Mike's now got a great run here, but Nick Levilla's just going to have the inside line, should be able to cover him off. Nick Levilla's really got some pace around Snetterton tonight, and he's showing it in really great form, but currently Mike's going to get a good bit of a run here coming up towards this next little bend after the chicane, but Mike Gaming once again has got that covered off at the moment, doing everything he has to do to keep onto this one. Jay in the background here, just about a second off of these two, matching them at the moment. Captain Harlock's closed a little bit on Jay, so is Cobb, and John Boy's not too far off of these guys either, running in P6. He's got Charlie trying to pressure him for P6 right now. Revolt Detail ahead of M. Afford, followed by Craig. You've got Aussie Albie, who's got Park Pooper all over the back of him, and Big Blue as well, right there in that battle for P11 at this point. But Nick Levilla and Mike 0.2 apart, coming down towards turn 1 again. Mike's still too far back to make anything happen just at the moment, as Cobb's making a move here on Jay into 4th place. Job done down the inside there goes Cobb. Jay's going to try and keep it down the outside, but he can't do it, and Jay's got to slow down as well, so Jay's going to obviously lose probably a bit of time at the end of this race. But will he lose any places? Hopefully he doesn't. But unfortunately for Jay, he's down to P5 there with Cobb squeezing back ahead of him. But Nick Levilla still keeping on to this lead ahead of Mike Gaming. Nick Levilla's been driving a really solid couple of races tonight. I mean, he's driven spectacularly so far. P2 in the first race, nabbing Captain Harlock on the last lap. He's been battling with Mike since the get-go of tonight and looking to try and keep him behind him this time in this second race of the night. Captain Harlock's keeping these guys on the same page as well, to be fair. He's not letting them drive off into the distance. Cobb still has got Jay on the back of him, having made that move. He's still not managed to shake take off Jay at the moment. John Boy's there just running ahead of Charlie, followed by Emma for Revolt Detail ahead of Craig. Then a few seconds back to Ozzy Albie, who's got Park Pooper now dropping off him a little bit, and Big Blue there just losing a bit of time to these guys at the moment, but still not too far away from them, and could maybe close that gap if he can get into a bit of a rhythm. But it's currently still Nick, Mike and Captain Harlock. Well, Captain Harlock's dropped off for them a little bit, but Mike's still putting the pressure on Nick the Video as they're coming through the chicane here for the third time in this race. It's going to be 11 lap race like we had in the first race of the night, and it's going to be probably all the way down to the wire between these two, Nick the Video and Mike Gaming. As we can see, also Captain Harlock's got Cobb arriving on the back of him a little bit now. The gap's only a second between those two. Jay's just dropped off at the back of Cobb ever so slightly. Charlie Goff and John Boy coming along here quite nicely. Can they maybe get into this battle for third place and maybe get into the podium spots? Who knows if they've got the pace tonight to be able to do that, as these guys are a few seconds clear of M. Afford still. Right, though, still really close on the back of Nick the Video. He's going to look to the inside into turn one. He's a little bit too far back at the moment. Mike Gaming's got that one covered off for the time being. But sorry, Nick the Video's got that covered off for the time being, shall I say. Jay there running in fourth ahead of Cobb still, as we can see. Charlie still defending from John Boy, but let's keep an eye on this battle for the lead, because Mike Gaming's still trying his absolute damnedest to try and find a way through. But as we saw in the first race, Nick the Villa he's no easy customer. He's always going to fight for these positions. He's got pace around this track. You can see that. Mike Gaming's got a bit of a run here around the outside though. Did Nick get a slowdown penalty? I think he might have done, and Nick seemed to just wave Mike through there. So Mike Gaming has now been able to get that position done. But having said that, we saw Nick the Villa then repass Mike in the first race. Is he going to do the same thing here in this second race and try and come back at Mike over the course of this race? Nonetheless, it's Mike Gaming now hitting the front here in this Touring Car Championship. Race 5 of 18 for the season, race 2 of 3 for the night. Currently Jay there in fourth ahead of Cobb, followed by John Boy, who's about 7 seconds off for the lead. They've now gapped Charlie a little bit, who's now got M. Afford, who's trying to close. In fact, no, sorry, that's John Boy and Charlie running in P6 and 7. It's because what happens is you click on somebody and the camera doesn't pick up on them straight away, so it's confusing to know who's who sometimes. But Mike and Nick still running 2 tenths apart at the moment. I never used to have this problem when I used to spectate on spectate mode in the actual races itself. It's only when I started using Race Director that I had this problem where you flick to somebody and it doesn't flick to them straight away. I never used to have that problem. Back in the day, you used to click on somebody, it would instantly pick them up. But obviously something changed along the line somewhere. Mike Gaming, Nick the Villa still battling over the lead at the moment. You've got Captain Harlock there still running in third place. Jay and Cobb still battling it out, but Jay's managed to pick his way through ahead of Cobb up into fourth place. Cobb's still sticking to the back of him right now, as Jay's got a slowdown penalty, I think, coming out of the last corner, because he's going to have to surrender that position there to Cobb. He lets him pass there coming down the straight, or is he going to let him pass, or is he just going to try and slow down sufficiently to shake the slowdown without losing the position? I think he's going to have to shake the position, and Cobb there moves himself up into fourth place, up the inside into turn one. There's John Boy, who will be hoping that he can feast on these scraps if these two continue to slow each other down. Mike Gaming still leads the race ahead of Nick the Villa, but there's only half a second now separating these two here on lap 5 of 11 here for this second race of the night. And it's currently Nick still doing a really good job here of keeping Mike on his toes. Captain Harlock there in third ahead of Cobb, who's still just keeping Jay at bay at the moment, as Jay's looking down the inside here at the exit of this left hand. And now Cobb obviously has made this move back on Jay, but Jay's going to try and return the favour here. Into the hairpin they come, into Agostini. So side by side, as you can see, Cobb leaving Jay the space on the inside. Jay gets that move done, back up into fourth place. John Boy will be watching this and rubbing his hands together, thinking, I want some of this if I possibly can. But Jay, for the time being, has got that upper hand over Cobb here in this battle for fourth place. These guys well adrift of Captain Harlock, who's running in third place, currently occupying that final podium spot. Looking through the pack, you've got battles going on here between Charlie and M. Afford right now, as M. Afford's looking to try and pile that pressure on there for seventh place. But currently Mike and Nick still battling it out. Still Jay and Cobb very close here, just half a second separating those two right now as they're coming down to the end of the straight. But nothing doing there between those two. M. Afford's still looking to find a way through here ahead of Charlie Goff, but he's too far back there coming into the chicane just at the moment. Back to the leaders though, here they are. You've got Mike and Nick still separated by barely anything at all, but Nick has got a slowdown penalty, so that will be something he's got to watch out for. He'll obviously lose time at the end of the race, whatever will come. But you can see Nick the Villa's still keeping Mike honest at the moment, and if he can keep Mike honest and keep himself there, he might be able to force Mike into a mistake or do something that might be able to negate that time penalty that he's got there. But currently Captain Harlock there still occupying the final podium spot, but he's lost time on that last lap to Captain Harlock. I think he might have had a slowdown penalty because he's now only a couple of seconds clear of Jay and Cobb, and he was about 5 seconds ahead of them on the previous lap. Jay's also gapped Cobb by nearly a second now. John Boy is now really putting the pressure on Cobb here for 5th place as he's looking to try and get a bit of a run here coming out of turn 2. Down towards 3 they come. John Boy a little bit too far back just at the moment to make anything happen there. Charlie ahead of him, Afford followed by Park Pooper. Aussie Albie there running in P10. You got Revolt Detailer there in 11th place, followed by Craig. Big Blue there still running in P13 at the moment, but Mike Gaming still leads by half a second right now ahead of Nick Levilla. Nick Levilla still trying to throw the kitchen sink at Mike Gaming at this point, and these two. Oh, Nick Levilla! Oh no, he's got it all wrong there as they came out of the hairpin. Agostini, and he's just got it absolutely nightmarishly there. And Nick Levilla there has lost 4 seconds and is now well off of the back of them. Is now well off of the back of Mike, should I say. What a shame there for him. As My Gaming still out in front by 4.5 seconds at this point, but Nick Levilla, obviously with that mistake, he's now only a couple of seconds clear of Captain Harlock, and obviously with that time penalty as well, he might find himself vulnerable to Jay and Cobb, but then again, Jay's got a time penalty as well. But what a shame there for Nick Levilla, as that was looking like a bit of a tasty scrap there for the lead of the race. But currently Charlie is still keeping him effort at bay in this battle for 7th place. These two have been going at it for some laps now. Craig is on the back of Revolt Detailer in this battle for 11th place. Obviously we've lost Big Blue from the race, he's no longer in this one, but these two currently running pretty close as Cobb is arriving back on the rear of Jay here. Jay's made a bit of a mistake there coming to the final corner, and Cobb's now got a bit of a run here. They're going to be side by side here down the start finish straight, coming over the line here to complete lap 6 of the race. Cobb's got the run, he's got 4th place, and now John Boy's going to squeeze down the middle. Oh, he gets Cobb a bit of a tap there, so he gives Jay a bit of a tap. As we can see there, John Boy trying to squeeze through, pushes Jay a bit onto the grass. John Boy gets to move down up into 5th place, squeezes through the gap really nicely there. He'll have the inside for turn 2. Jay's going to try and come back at him. Is Jay going to go for the switchback? He can't do it. John Boy's car parked in the right place there. Jay gives John Boy a bit of a tap in the rear as they came through the corner, but John Boy's up into 5th place and Cobb now into 4th, and is now going to try and break away from these two if he possibly can, but Jay's surely going to try and come back at John Boy here in this battle for 5th place, as we almost left the lobby there. That would have been a nightmare if that had happened, but currently we've still got a great battle going on. Oh, as Jay sends one down the inside of John Boy. What a move there as they came into it's into Agostini. What a move there. That was superb stuff. And Jay back up into 5th place. But John Boy back down the inside coming into Oggies. What a move there. This is incredible stuff. John Boy back up into 5th place, and Jay is just going to have to go again here. Obviously they began with superior straight line speed. He might have a chance coming down the back straight. John Boy though, what a move that was. These two trading places on each other. This is allowing Cobb to pull away a little bit there in 4th place, as we see Captain Harlock going a little bit deep there coming into the chicane. So Cobb might fancy his chances of getting onto the podium here in this 2nd race of the night. Mike's still your race leader though by nearly 5 seconds ahead of Nick Levilla. Nick obviously with the time penalty, I don't know what sort of penalty he's got. Let's have a quick look. He's got 1 second, so he should be alright. Jay's got 3 seconds, so he'll drop probably a bit once we get to the end of this race. But Mike Gaming, your leader, by 6 seconds ahead of Nick Levilla. There's Captain Harlock running in 3rd place ahead of Cobb. You've got John Boy there, who's got Jay really close to the back of him here, coming up towards turn 1. Is Jay going to have a look? No, not far, not close enough there. He might have to have a look to try and send one into the hairpin though. If he can get a good run here, then he'll have a chance to look up the inside. Here goes Jay, sizing him up. John Boy covers that inside line. He's keeping him at bay at the moment, and no way through at the moment there for Jay, but John Boy's just keeping his car parked in the right places. John Boy knows that the Merc isn't the best car in the touring car class. He knows that McGann's probably just got that couple of tenths of a second over it, but at this point John Boy's just keeping a wide old fox at this stage, and he's obviously losing time to Cobb, but he knows that he can park his car in the right places and hold off John Boy. John Boy looking at the inside, bit of a lock up there as they came into Agostini. Up towards Hamilton they come. This left hand bend, which is, you can take in 4th gear, you can actually take it a lot quicker than it looks, which leads straight into Oggies, which is obviously leads to a double right hander into Williams. but you've got John Boy still looking up the inside. Jay looking up the inside. Sorry, I'm really tired, so I'm just messing up a few of my names here. But Jay obviously trying to put this pressure on. These two have gained a bit on Cobb over the course of this lap as well. Cobb, you can see, he's fallen back into the clutch of these two. He's got a time penalty as well, so I wonder if he tried to shake it by slowing down, and obviously still got the penalty and still lost time as well. But Jay looking up the inside of John Boy, not close enough. Jay's gone straight on. Jay got his braking point all wrong there coming into the chicane. John Boy's going to take that position straight back there into 5th place. That chicane, Brundle and Nelson, the left and the right handers there. Unfortunately for Jay, he's dropped a couple of seconds off of Cobb and John Boy, and those two now well clear of him. Jay is going to get himself together and go again here in this potential battle for 4th place. Mike Gaming still leading by just under 6 seconds, and Nick Lavilla looks like he's got control of this race at the moment as Mike Gaming. Captain Harlock still occupying that 3rd spot, and obviously with Cobb now with a time penalty as well, that's going to play into Captain Harlock's hands, because he's now got advantage very much in that podium place. It could be an identical podium to what we saw in the first race. Cobb, John Boy, Jay running in 4th, 5th and 6th. You've got Charlie Goff there in 7th place at the moment. He's 3 seconds clear of M. Afford running in 8th place, followed by Park Pooper, who's sat in 9th. You've got Ozzy Albie there in P10. He's a few seconds clear of Craig, who's running in 11th place at the moment, and then Revolt Detailer, who's running in 12th place at the moment, and what is last on the track at this stage. But Mike Gaming still out in front, still doing what he has to do at this point. 6 seconds is his gap at the moment over Nick Lavilla. You've got Captain Harlock there running in 3rd place ahead of Cobb, followed by John Boy, Jay ahead of Charlie, followed by M. Afford, Park Pooper, Ozzy, Craig and Revolt Detailer rounding out the pack at the moment. But Mike Gaming's got just 2 and a bit laps left to go here in this second race of the night. It's going to be 2 out of 2 tonight for Snetterton, and it'll be 5 out of 6 for the season if he can continue what he's doing and bring it home in the position that he's currently in. Nick Lavilla a little bit wide there coming out of Williams, but I don't think he would have got a slowdown penalty for that, because he didn't gain any time there, at least didn't look like it by what I could see. Cobb still just ahead of John Boy and Jay, but this 3-way battle for 4th place looks like it's going to go down to the wire here in this second race. Oh, Jay, bit of a slide there as he came through Brundle, but keeping it together. You can see there John Boy's got ever closer to the back of Cobb. Cobb obviously with a slowdown penalty as well. John Boy could be on for a P4 here with both of these two around him having penalties. It will benefit him massively in his points standings for this season, as we can see Cobb always got to take a tight line coming through the final corner. John Boy might fancy his chances here of getting a run. Can he get the slipstream here coming down the start finish straight? If he can, then he might have a chance coming into turn 1, but once again the McGann with the straight line speed over the Mercedes, and John Boy can do absolutely nothing there coming down the straight into turn 1. Cobb's got a reasonable cushion once again there over him. John Boy might fancy a look into the hairpin if he can get a better run, but once again Cobb has got a good enough run, and there's just nothing doing, no opportunities really for John Boy to make anything happen there coming into turn 2. Cobb a little bit deep though, but gets it stopped in time. As you were between these two down at the moment, but John Boy is, I think he's got to worry more about what's behind him than he has at what's in front of him, and he's had to actually get out of it there. So John Boy must have got a slowdown penalty. Now Jay moves himself up into 5th place, so that's now job done there for Jay. John Boy's had to back off massively here. Look at that, he's lost about 2 or 3 seconds here to these two, and that will not be what he would have wanted. Obviously he hasn't got a slowdown, he hasn't got a time penalty, so if he can keep himself within a certain catchment of these two, then he will take 4th place, but that's not going to have helped him. Jay's got a 3-second time penalty, Cobb's got a 2, so John Boy needs to gain a second on Cobb before the end of this race, but with Jay putting the pressure on him, that might help John Boy to do that. If Jay can get onto the back of Cobb and they can slow each other down, then that might give John Boy a chance to get himself back into that 2-second window on Cobb and potentially take 4th place here in this race. We've got Big Blue back in the session. He's ready to join us back for the final race of the evening, which will be a 3rd sprint race as the other ones have been. It'll obviously be a reverse grid based on the results from this race too, as Mike's still out in front by 8.5 seconds right now ahead of Nick Lavilla. Captain Harlock, I keep nearly calling him Capri Sun, I don't know why I do it. He's running in 3rd place ahead of Cobb. Jay there ahead of John Boy, who's still trying to put this pressure on Jay, but obviously John Boy is just under 3 seconds behind Cobb, so at this stage Cobb would hold on for 4th place on those time penalties, but it's very close at this point, and John Boy just needs to find a few tenths of a second to get himself within that range. But now he's got to negotiate Jay. Jay's dropped off at the back of Cobb a little bit, so that might help Cobb to consolidate his 4th place here on this final lap of the race. These guys are a few seconds clear of Charlie Goff running in 7th place, and you've got 5 seconds back to MF ahead of Park Boober, followed by Ozzy Albie, who's running in P10 at the moment. You've got Craig there in 11th place, and a Revolt Detailer still going there in P12. Mike Gaming has opened up his lead to 9 seconds here over Nick Lavilla, and he's just enjoying himself right now. Here's Mike Gaming. He looks set to take his 5th win from what is 4th win from 5 races. I was saying it a race too soon. It was actually 3 wins from 4 the previous race. It's now 4 from 5, or it will be 4 from 5 in a few corners time. It's not 5 from 6. It'll be 4 from 5 if he can win. If he can bring it around the last few corners. He's got 9 seconds back to Nick Lavilla. Captain Harlow there still going in P3. It'll be a 2nd podium in as many races for him, and what a job he's doing tonight. Just Charlie Goff is disconnected, so hopefully we'll get him back in for the 3rd race. He will be able to take his position because we were on the final lap, so he'll be able to start from pole position, or it will be pole position for Charlie Goff. But nonetheless, Mike Gaming coming into the final corner here at Snetterton, and it's going to be 2 wins from 2 tonight for Mike Gaming. It'll be 4 from 5 over the course of this touring car season. What a start to the season this man is having. He's absolutely loving life right now here on Project Cars 2 Automotive. Mike Gaming takes the checkered flag here at Snetterton for race 2 of the night. Nick Lavilla's coming up towards the line, and it's going to be another valiant 2nd place for him. Some great points in his championship, but not the position that I'm sure he wanted. Captain Harlock, what a job from you, mate. Fantastic showing from Captain Harlock so far tonight. P2 for him. Nick Lavilla comes over to take 3rd place in the end, with Cobb over in 4th ahead of John Boy 5th. So John Boy did take 5th on the time penalties, but couldn't get Cobb, who holds on for 4th. John Boy 5th, Jay 6th. Park Pooper is going to hold on for 7th place here ahead of M. Afford by the looks of it, ahead of Ozzy Albie, who's going to take 9th place as he comes up towards the line to finish the race. There he is. Clegg's coming out of the last corner, and Craig will take P10 here for race 2 as he's up towards the line now. So Craig, P10 here, and some solid points there for him. Obviously Charlie Goff disconnected, Big Blue and Connor both also. So Revolt Detailer will be the last driver to finish in 11th place here. So 14 drivers started the race, so P11 for Revolt Detailer. Very solid performance there, P11 for him. And that is that then for the 2nd race, guys. So it's Mike Gaming taking his 4th win from 5 races so far this season. He hit winning by 13 seconds in the end as well, so quite a healthy margin. Captain Harlock took P2 on the penalties. Wow. So Nick Lavilla dropped down to 3rd place there. Captain Harlock a 3rd and a 2nd tonight, really doing a splendid job here in this touring car championship. But guys, we'll be back very shortly for the final race of the evening. We'll be about 5 or 10 minutes. We'll have a manual formation lap before the start of it. We'll be back very, very shortly after a quick ad for our sponsors.
Get lost sometimes and I can't seem to find a light between the walls I built for myself right in my mind. And then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. Now when I got you, I'll be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I. Only you. Put the fire out. You.
dominant display here from the Only G. Like I said a moment ago, take nothing away from Emo Guy. He's driven absolutely extraordinary tonight. Absolutely brilliant for him. But it's going to be the Only G who's going to cross the line, and by my calculations I think become champion. So G wins from Emo Guy. He has driven a fantastic defensive race all afternoon. Emo Guy's driven a fantastic attacking race all evening. They've both been brilliant in this one. Lauder back in the pits again from P8. Delores up into C. Is this Emo Guy having a look at Andy on the final lap of the race? He's got to get it done. He's going to try and go around the outside, and they give each other respect and plenty of room, and Andy just hangs on to the race lead at the moment. But Emo Guy's really trying to fight it in there with only a couple of corners to go now. It's now or never for the Flying Scotsman. A flash of the lights again. Andy responds in flashing his lights, and Emo Guy knows it's now or never. John Boy still has time to make a mistake at the moment. He's coming up to a black marker on track. And Emo Guy, 2 corners to go, the left-right chicane. He's going to look up the inside, and he's going to send one on Andy. Later on the brakes, can he keep it there? He's going to be on the outside for the final part, and they touch a little bit. Give each other respect, and I think Emo Guy's just in front. He's narrowly in front. And on the last lap, the last corner, Emo Guy's going to take the win. No, Andy gets the win through the penalties. Emo Guy second. Unorthodox will get third, with John Boy then your champion this season. He's done what he needed to do tonight, and he's going to take the championship.
Yeah, you love it.
Alright guys, good order is going to be this. So it's going to be Charlie P1, Leo P2, Craig P3, Ozzy P4, Emma P5, Bob P6, JP7, John Boy P8, Cobb P9, Nick P10, Captain P11, Mike P12,
the final race of the championship in the BMW.
and obviously Big Blue P30.
Final corner now.
Right, 5 minute practice.
In second place, looks to take the title here tonight with the help of Laney. X-Mile wins the title with Laney in third place. By my calculations, that would be the order. John Boy crosses the line in fourth.
Sorry, where am I
What an
again?
awesome season he had in that Mercedes, which is underpowered, underrated, and he has done bits in it.
We have a winner here coming across the line. Laney's going to take the win, and a brilliant win as well. Absolutely controlled this one. He goes across the line. He won, and what a winner! A round of applause there. Yes, indeed. Done everything he possibly could. On his back.
He won in the title.
One in the title indeed, as John Boy comes across the line to be the new touring car champion, and congratulations to John Boy, well deserved.
Let's jump to this man, the John Boy. He's going to come around the bottom of a few corners. He is a 2-time champion of the touring cars. He won the Fiat Cup for the first time on Monday night, but unfortunately it's not going to be his season in the touring cars. He is denied a 3rd title, but a flash of lights nonetheless. He's pretty chuffed with a race win, and he'll take that going into next season. John Boy, your race winner tonight. Diabetic Man is going to come out and take 2nd place, but your champion of the touring cars here at Motive Racing for season 10 here on Project Cars 2 is WSRCJ, taking his 1st title here at Motive as he comes over the line. What a drive, what a season here from Jay. He didn't have it easy in that feature race, but he kept it cool under immense pressure, and he brings it home in 3rd place. WSRCJ is your champion for season 10. Congratulations to him. Nick then comes over to take the his car. Work is my game here. He has had a superb season. He's taken multiple double victories over the course of many rounds this season. Mike Gaming has been a revelation this time round in the touring car. He took the championship right now. He's going to make it a double here on Project Cars 2. All season 11 here on the PlayStation 4 and 5. Mike Gaming up towards the line. Ryan Rooney takes a fantastic win in the sprint race here at US Springs, but Mike Gaming is your touring car champion for season 11. Following up in the footsteps of Dre, who took it last season. Mike Gaming, season 11 champion, and after 3rd place, completes the podium. Welcome back everybody, we are here for the final practice session of the night, preceding the final race of the night here for round 2 of the Touring Car Championship. This will be race 6 of 18 for the full season, and we have got a reverse grid based on the results from race 2. However, the order will be slightly different on what I just told the guys in the lobby, because unfortunately Charlie Goff disconnected before we started during the practice session. Actually, he disconnected, and so as a result it means that everybody behind Charlie Goff is going to move up a position. So I will read out the revised grid order here. Let me just get it up, the results from the previous race, and then you'll know for sure exactly where we stand with these results. So it's going to be hold on one sec, that's not on the plan. So it's going to be Revolt Detailer on pole, it's going to be Craig in second, Aussie in third, M-App at 4th, Park Pooper 5th, Jay 6th, John Boy 7th, Cobb in 8th, Nick 9th, Captain Harlock 10th, Mike 11th, and Big Blue in 12th. So I will read that out one more time, just in case anybody's missed that. So it's going to be Revolt Detailer P1, Craig P2, Aussie P3, Emma for P4, Park Pooper P5, Jay P6, John Boy P7, Cobb P8, Nick P9, Captain Harlock P10, Mike 11th, and Big Blue in 12th. Now you guys might have noticed I was talking on a slightly different sounding microphone there. I'm now on my proper studio mic. That one that you heard just a few moments ago was my PlayStation headset, which makes me sound like a little girl for some reason. I don't know why, but it makes me sound like, it makes me sound a bit more high pitched and a bit more childish, whereas this studio microphone, it actually captures my voice how it really actually sounds. So people in real life say, oh, you don't sound anything like you do on comms. Well, as of the last few months I do. This is actually how my real voice sounds in real life. This studio mic captures it very well, my PlayStation headset does not. But that is the practice results anyway. Not that we're going to read too much into them, but it's going to be Cobb on pole ahead of John Boy. Well, no, it's not, that's bollocks. It's going to be, that's the result from practice. It's got nothing to do with the grid order. Let's go to the race, come on. Right then guys, here we are, we're about to go racing here for the final race of the night. It looks like a few drivers have got drive-through, so the guys are arranging it in the voice chat amongst themselves. Clearly they're going to be reserving their drive-throughs, and then I imagine waiting for the rest of the pack to come by. So you got Cobb, John Boy and Craig there. They're going to wait at the pit exit for the rest of them to come round. So Revolt Detail is going to get us underway here, and we're racing. We are green. Revolt Detail is gone. So up towards the line we come to start the final race of the night here for the final time here at Snetterton here for season 12. And Revolt Detailer coming through into turn 1. Your race leader ahead of Aussie Albie, followed by Parkweaver, then M. Afford there ahead of Jay, Nick the Villa, Captain Harlock ahead of Craig, followed by Mike. In fact, Craig shouldn't really be coming out in the face of oncoming traffic, but he has done it anyway, and he's come up in 7th place. John Boy and Cobb have waited for the whole pack to come past, very sportsmanlike, as we see Revolt Detailer just slowing it down again. Are we doing a safety car here or what? I'm not sure what we're doing here. This is off script, but looks like we're doing a safety car, an impromptu safety car of some sort potentially. Yeah, not quite sure what's going on here, to be honest with you. This is completely off script. The guys are all in a voice chat. They're all chatting on the game chat. Pretty much everybody's got a mic, and those who don't have mics can hear what's going on. So everybody's kind of like communicating, and clearly there's some kind of discussion going on. So they're doing their own caution type of thing within the game lobby. So hopefully we do start up again. I imagine they're going to wait until the end of the lap and then go. That would make the most sense. Or maybe they're going to wait until the back straight. That could also be an opportunity to get things underway again. I think are we accelerating yet? Looks like Revolt Detailer really exuberantly warming his tyres up. He wants to be careful, but looks like we still haven't gone yet, so we're going to probably go at the end of this lap, I would imagine, out of the last corner. So we're doing an additional formation lap here at Snetterton 300 for the Touring Car Championship at Motive. So I can hear a go in the voice chat there. It looks like we're underway. So Revolt Detailer now putting his foot down, and we're going to go out of the last corner, I would imagine, here. Are we finally underway here? Yes, it looks like we are. So Revolt Detailer has now officially... No, he hasn't yet. No, he hasn't. Okay, he has now. We are now racing. We are green, finally, as Revolt Detailer comes over the line. And there's Aussie Albie. He's got Craig and Parkweaver right on the back of him here. Parkweaver's got a great run coming down towards turn 1. Can he get both of them into turn 1? Parkweaver's gone from 4th to 2nd. What an electric start there. He was not hanging around for anybody. Oh, as Craig goes into the wall, and so does John Boy as well. So no, John Boy, sorry, not John Boy, Aussie. It was Aussie and Craig there into the wall. Craig's come out massively worse there, but unfortunately there, a bit of an incident there. Craig got a bit of damage on the front of the car. It's Revolt Detailer who leads by just over a second there from Parkweaver, who made an electric start to the race. Jay a bit sideways ahead of him, followed by John Boy. There's Cobb ahead of Nick. As you can see, Nick the Villa all over the grass there as he cuts the inside of the track and loses out there to Mike and Aussie. But Nick the Villa there having a bit of a moment. Craig is in P10. Captain Harlock and Big Blue have both had a nightmare start to this final race of the evening. They're in 11th and 12th places, but it's Revolt Detailer who leads the race right now, as we're on what is technically the first racing lap, but we're on lap 3 of 12 for the race, and it's been a bit weird so far this one, to be fair, having an extra formation lap. But currently Parkweaver is trying to put the pressure here on Revolt Detailer as they're coming round towards the final sector of the lap here to complete through lap 3, which is weird to say because it's the first racing lap. Jay there running in 3rd ahead of M. Afford, followed by John Boy. You got Cobb there ahead of Mike, followed by Aussie Albie. Nick the Villa ahead of Craig, followed by Captain Harlock and Big Blue running at the back in P12 at the moment. So now coming down to the end of the back straight here, as Revolt Detailer's got a bit deep. Does he get it stopped? No, he doesn't. He messes it up, and that's Parkweaver up into the lead of the race. Where is the Revolt Detailer come out? He's coming out onto the track now. Oh, somebody else in the background's lost it as well. Somebody's in the wall. Is that Mike? That was Mike who binned it into the wall. Wow! The championship leader, the man who's won 4 out of the 5 races this season in this touring car championship, has binned it coming into the entrance of the corner, binned it into the opposite wall behind the track, and Mike Gaming down in P9 well off of the leaders, as he's now on the back of Nick the Villa, but it's currently Park Pooper who leads the race by just over a second. And Jay could be fancying his opportunity to maybe take another race in race 3 of a category. Obviously he took race 3 on Monday night in the Clios. Can he win another race 3 here in the touring cars tonight? We see John Boy on the back of Efford and Cobb, but Jay's now within half a second of Park Pooper and really putting the pressure on in the early stages of this race. You've got Efford there ahead of Cobb, followed by John Boy. There's Revolt Detailer running just behind these guys at the moment, ahead of Ozzy, who's running in 7th place. You've got Mike, who's now got ahead of Nick the Villa. These two have battled for the duration of this event tonight, but now they're running 8th and 9th places and have really got work to do to bring themselves back into this race. Craig, Captain Harlock and Big Blue running towards the back. Captain Harlock after 2 podiums, a 3rd and a 2nd tonight. It's not going to be another podium tonight unless he really pulls his finger out, but Park Pooper and Jay running in 1 and 2. Jay's already got a time penalty here in this race. He loves these time penalties. He's always getting them early in the races. Jay, those tweets around the outside of Park Pooper Rex. Has he got the move done? I think he has. That's the lead there for Jay. He now wrestles P1 off of Park Pooper. Now Park Pooper's got to watch out for him. Who's right behind him as well. Cobb there in 4th ahead of John Boy, followed by Revolt Detailer. There's Ozzy Albie running in P7. Mike Gaming ahead of Nick the Villa, followed by Captain Harlock running in P10, who's just ahead of Craig, and Big Blue running in P12 at this point. But Jay, Park Pooper and Efford currently the 3 leaders here. 6 tenths apart. Oh, Jay rattles over the curb there. Hits the sausage curb massively. Park Pooper Rex has got to run on him, and we'll have the inside here coming up through the bomb hole. They come now as Park Pooper's now got the lead back off of Jay. Now Cobb's going to look up the inside of Jay as well, and Jay losing 2 places in a couple of corners there. What a nightmare scenario there for Jay. After having the lead in the early stages of the race, he's now got down to 3rd place and has got work to do here in this one. Here, can he get the run here coming up the last corner? John Boy's right on the back of Jay now as well, so this has gone horribly wrong here for Jay on lap 4 of this race. Park Pooper now leads the race once again. Cobb right on the back of him, but Jay's now got to watch out because John Boy has got a heck of a run here coming down the start finish straight. And could he potentially look up the inside into turn 1? No, he can't, but he might get a run coming into turn 2 because Jay's really wide. Oh, did Jay T-bone him? He almost came close to T-boning John Boy, but he's lost it himself. He had to snap the other way to avoid hitting John Boy, and Jay's dropped down to 6th place behind Revolt Detailer and behind Ozzy Albie as well. Ozzy Albie down the inside into turn 2. Jay trying to hold it around the outside. Can he keep it there? I think he has done. Oh, we lost Big Blue. And Jay does concede the place to Ozzy Albie. So Ozzy Albie over to P6. Big Blue disconnecting here on lap 5. Park Pooper leads ahead of Cobb, followed by John Boy. It's a 3-way battle here for the lead. Can John Boy finally get a win in the touring cars this season? He's not liking the Mercedes as much as he did in previous seasons, down to the fact that everybody else has improved so much more since the last time he drove in the Mercedes. But nonetheless, he's still making a good go of it, currently running in P3. Can he challenge these guys in their faster Renault Megans? As Jay really struggling here after grabbing the lead early on. He's now down to P6, and it's all very quickly gone Pete Tong here for our former champion of this touring car division. What does he have to do to catch a break this season? Nothing seems to go right for him at the moment. He just can't seem to get a solid race for whatever reason. It just all seems to go Pete Tong here for Jay this season. Park Pooper ahead of Cobb, these two 6 tenths apart. M. Efford there running in 3rd ahead of John Boy, followed by Revolt Detailer, who's got Jay hassling him for 5th place. A few seconds back to Nick the Villa, who's running just ahead of Captain Harlock at the moment. Craig there running in 9th ahead of Ozzy Albie, and Mike is down in 11th place. So I don't know what has happened to our championship leader, but he's going to lose a heck of a load of points here in this one, and who knows what might happen here. But with Cobb running in 2nd place, Cobb will look to try and take the win. Cobb is Mike's closest challenger in the championship standings at the moment, so maybe Cobb might be able to really claw that gap down at the end of tonight. But Mike having a horror show of a race here at Snetterton here for this race 6 of the season, obviously race 3 of the night of 18 for the whole season. Park Pooper still leading ahead of Cobb, but Cobb's dropped off at the back of Park Pooper a little bit over the course of that lap, so now leading a second between those two. As we see, MF has lost the place to John Boy. John Boy back around the outside. He had gained the position for a moment there, but John Boy takes it straight back there up into 3rd place. Jay is still running ahead of Revolt Detailer, so actually Jay's got ahead of Revolt Detailer there and has made that move on the previous lap, I would imagine, somewhere. But Park Pooper still leading the race ahead of Cobb, 4 tenths of a second separating these two on lap 6 of this race. We're almost half distance here in the final race of the evening. Cobb doing his fastest first sector of the race so far. Can he take a win and close the gap to Mike Gaming in the points? At the moment, he'd be gaining quite a a lot of points on Mike. I reckon Mike, realistically, could probably get P6 or P7 in this race. I don't think he's going to get any higher than that, unless something happens to one of the guys up the top of this order. But currently, Park Pooper ahead of Cobb, followed by John Boy. Emafford there is keeping these guys, keeping tabs for these guys. He's within 2 seconds of them at the moment. There's Jay running in 5th place, followed by Revolt Detailer. There's Nick Villa, who's just a little bit off for these guys right now. And then the rest of them are battling it out. Craig, Captain Harley, Mike Gaming, and Aussie Albie, just a couple of seconds off of them at the moment. But Park Pooper ahead of Cobb. These two 6/10 apart, coming down to the end of the back straight here. And an interesting race we've had so far here in this final race of the evening, as we've got John Boy still keeping with himself in the hunt here in that Mercedes. He's doing a really good job of negating that pace advantage that the McGann has got over his car this season. But Park Pooper's got to watch out, because he's got this is a two-way fight for the lead for the McGanns, and they've got the Mercedes keeping them on their toes at the moment. But Cobb is going to look to try and get this done as soon as he can on Park Pooper and maximise the points he's going to gain on his championship rival Mike Gaming, who's down in 9th place and struggling again there on the grass coming into the bum hole. He's not having the race at all as Captain Harlot looks down the inside, and Mike, he's lost it. Oh no, and Mike Gaming has gone from bad to worse here tonight. He's down to 11th place, and Aussie Albie is into 10th. What is going on tonight with Mike Gaming? He's been in imperious form tonight. He's taken 2 wins so far tonight from the 2 races. He's not going to make it 3 out of 3, and potentially he will be dropping points and maybe even his championship lead at this rate. With the position he's in this race, his championship rival's in 2nd place, but Cobb is not making the inroads on Park Pooper that he wants to. He's currently watching in his mirrors for John Boy, who's trying to get himself into 2nd place if he can. Emafford there's just behind these guys in 4th place right now, but it's all go here in the early stages of this final race of the season. Well, it's not the early stages anymore. We're over halfway through the final race of the it's not the season, also it's the final race of the evening. But Park Pooper Rex has now got these 3 now really working hard, because he's now stretching that advantage that he's got over them. And Cobb, John and Emafford are trying to feast on the scraps that they've got left behind them, but Jay's trying to close on these guys now. He's up into 5th place and he's closing the gap to the leaders as we speak. Park Pooper Rex still leading the race though by 1.5 seconds, as John Boy's going to try and get her on here on Cobb coming down the back straight. Is he going to be close enough to make anything happen here? As we can see, he's got the slipstream here. He's got a great run, but the McGann has traditionally got faster straight line speed than the Mercedes has, but John Boy's still making the slipstream work. He's looking to the inside here, coming into the chicane. Has he got that done? I think he has done. Yes, John Boy there with a great move, but he goes a bit wide on the exit there of Nelson. Is he going to be able to keep on ahead of Cobb? Yes, he does. Cobb can't quite get back ahead of him there, as they come through in towards Brundle now. Not Brundle, sorry, the bomb hole, shall I say, in towards Brundle and up towards Murray's for the 7th time here in this race. But Emafford looking to the inside of Cobb, can't make anything happen just there. But Park Pooper leading by nearly 2 seconds now, so Park Pooper is making the most of this battle behind him, and he's just trying to check out into the distance here in this battle for what could be the race win. It could be the podium spot. It all depends on if these guys can close in on Park Pooper in the final part of this race. But John Boy's still ahead of Cobb. You've got Emafford there ahead of Jay. This is a 4-way battle here for 2nd place. A bit of a gap back to Nick the Villa, who's running in 6th place, ahead of a Revolt Detailer, who's in 7th, followed by Craig, who's now got Mike on the back of him. So Mike looking to try and get himself into 8th place if he can. I reckon that Mike's best hope in this race is probably going to be 7th place, though. I don't think he's going to get any higher than that. So Cobb needs to make the most of this. But he's Cobb obviously losing out to John Boy. He now needs to really grit his teeth and get on with this and try and close the gap to Park Pooper and gain as many points on Mike as he can in this championship battle. Jay has got ahead of Emafford there up into 4th place. That is now a job done there for Jay, but he has got a time penalty. Let's have a look and see what it is. It's a 4-second time penalty, so Jay's picked up quite a few seconds there. Park Pooper's got nearly a 3-second lead over John Boy, and he's continuing to put out that gap to John Boy, Cobb, Jay and Emafford. And it looks like Park Pooper has got control of this race at the moment. Emafford a bit wide there as they came on the exit of Hamilton. But it's Park Pooper who leads by 2.5 seconds right now. John Boy's gained a little bit on Park Pooper, but of course this lap so far, Cobb's just dropping off at the back of John Boy ever so slightly. But Jay and Emafford are joining this party here in this battle for 2nd place. And this is just a fantastic advert here for Motive. The touring cars never disappoint. It's always closely fought, tightly packed action here. As we can see, Jay on his fastest lap so far. As we can see, Cobb all over the place there, coming through Brundle and Nelson. Keeps on to 3rd place there, just about. Jay nowhere to go, can't find the gaps at the moment. Cobb doing a great job here of keeping himself in that podium spot, but can he get ahead of John Boy? Can he close it up to Park Pooper, who leads this race, and potentially gain more points on Mike Gaming, who is well down the order, having a nightmare of a final race of the evening so far. As we can see, Jay now looking around outside of Cobb, but can't get the run there, coming out onto the start finish straight. Cobb keeps on to 3rd place for the time being. He's still trying to look on the back of John Boy here as MF's now dropped off of these guys by a couple of seconds and is now looking like he's out of that battle there for the podium places. Park Pooper leads into turn 1 ahead of John Boy. There's Cobb, there's Jay, and there's MF a long way behind off of these guys. Nick Levitt is still running in P6, but he's 10 seconds off of the lead. It's not been the final race of the evening that Nick Levitt would have wanted after his first 2 races. He got second in the first race, he got third in the second race, but in this final race he's not gone to plan at all. He's currently got 6 seconds back to Revolt Detail, and Mike has got the gap down to 3 seconds to Revolt Detail now, and Mike fancy P7 here in this race, but will have a bit of damage, I think, Mike, from the first lap incident into the wall coming on the exit of Brundle. But Park Pooper Rex has got a 2-second gap over John Boy. Cobb's to the inside of John Boy, but Cobb's also got Jay looking down his inside into Agostini, and Jay's going to have that move done into the podium places. Great move on the brakes there from Jay, gets himself into 3rd place. Cobb's going to have to try and fight back, but Jay's got the move and can now focus on John Boy up ahead of him. But all of these guys are going to be fancying this as a massive opportunity to gain points on Mike Gaming, who's having a torrid showing in this 3rd race of the night, as Craig has made a mistake and is down to 11th place. He's lost out to Mike, Captain Harlock and Aussie Albie. Didn't see what happened there to him, but he's lost a lot of places there as John Boy's keeping the gap at around 2 seconds to Park Pooper at the moment, and Jay flashing John Boy there, trying to get into his head if he can as they come into the end of the back straight here. Down towards Brundle and Nelson they come as Jay looking to the inside. That will become the outside though for Nelson. He sneaks through there as Jay. Does he carry a bit too much speed to the corner? No, he gets it turned in, but John Boy with a better exit out of the corner side by side here as they now come down towards the bomb hole. Here we come, and John Boy just threading the needle, taking that curve a little bit on the inside, and he's going to have that done surely. No, he has to back out because he gets a slow down by the looks of it. So Jay back ahead up into 2nd place there ahead of John Boy. Now John Boy's going to watch out because Cobb is right on him coming into the final corner. Park Pooper's just able to put out a bit of a gap to these guys whilst they're battling out and slowing each other down, but Cobb is now pulling up onto the back of John Boy. Can he get himself back up into the podium places if he can? Jay with a penalty, Cobb with a penalty as well. M. Mafford has also got a penalty, and so has Revolt Detailer. So lots of time penalties being handed out in the closing stages of this race. And Park Pooper leading by 2.5 seconds now as we're on lap 10 of 12. This final race of the evening for the touring cars here at Motive. And Jay with the time penalty, he will obviously lose out to John Boy. He will hold on from Cobb at the moment. Cobb will lose out to M. Mafford. So John Boy, as it stands, will take P2 here in this race, and that'll be a great result for him in the Mercedes. We just see a braking marker flying off there, so I don't know what's gone on there, but something's happened clearly. But Jay running in P2, can he close the gap? Can he maybe hold on to a few places here? I reckon that as it stands in this race at the moment, Jay is going to finish in 3rd place behind John Boy. So actually it's not as bad as it potentially looks with a 4-second penalty, because Cobb and MF have both got penalties of their own, albeit not as severe as Jay's, but he will be able to stay ahead of them based on the fact that he's far enough ahead of them to negate the difference in time penalty between his and theirs. But Mike has got ahead of Revolt Detailer. Wow, Mike's up into 7th place, so he's hunted down Revolt Detailer and has got himself into that position. So now Mike, I think that's the sum of his expectations here in this race. I don't think he's going to be able to gain on Nick, who's currently running in P6. He's 8 seconds behind Nick, so I think Mike has now hit his potential here in this race. Cobb is within 3 seconds of the race lead, but he's not currently in position to really challenge at this point. Can he keep ahead? Can he get onto the back of Jay? Maybe. Obviously, he's got the advantage in terms of time penalties because he's got 1 second less in terms of time penalty than Jay has. So he might be able to nab 3rd place here. If Cobb can keep himself there, keep himself close to Jay, then he might have a chance of getting himself onto the podium. Park Pooper here coming up towards the line. I'll tell you what, the gap's come down between Jay and Park Pooper. Oh, as we see John Boy wide coming out of the last corner and keeps onto it though, but Park Pooper's losing time to Jay. Jay's within 2 seconds of him as they start the penultimate lap of the race. John Boy not really making the gains though, and that's the driver who needs to get ahead of Park Pooper. He's really the only one who can realistically deny Park Pooper of a race win, because he's the only one that doesn't have a time penalty. Obviously Jay, Cobb and M. Afford all have time penalties. M. Afford though has dropped off for this backup quite a lot and is now 7 seconds off for the lead. But Park Pooper here, a second and a half of his gap to Jay. Jay's carving that gap down in the later stages of this race, but I don't think he's going to be able to take the win because he's got a 4-second penalty, so he's not going to pull out 4 seconds to Park Pooper, let alone maybe even, he might not even get ahead of him, but he's definitely not going to pull out 4 seconds to him. I think we can bet on that. But John Boy there, 2.5 seconds off of Park Pooper. Can he close that gap? Cobb's still right on the back of John Boy. You've got M. Afford there, 7 seconds off for the lead. Nick Liverless, 11 seconds off for the lead, but he's got 9 seconds back to Mike Gaming and should be okay for P6. Mike's had a nightmare of a race tonight and he's stopping. What's happened here to Mike? He's flashing his lights. Is he letting Revolt Detailer through? Revolt Detailer's going to move up into 7th place. What is going on here with Mike Gaming? He's letting everybody past. What is happening here with Mike Gaming? He's now dropping back down the order. He's now in 11th place. I don't know what he's doing. Did he have a problem with the wheel maybe? Did it come disconnected or something? Or I don't know, but he seems to have got it going once again now as Jay is within a second of Part Pooper. Wow, Jay has gained so much time on Part Pooper over the course of this lap. He's now within a second of him. You can see there John Boy's still the same distance behind Part Pooper that he was, still 2 seconds back. But Jay's going to try and throw the kitchen sink and maybe get the win on the track, even if he can't do it on the classification. But John Boy, the only driver who we said before can realistically take the win away from Part Pooper, seeing as he's the only other driver that doesn't have a penalty other than Part Pooper. But we start the final lap of the race and Part Pooper's now going to defend here from Jay on the track. We got John Boy there just ahead of Cobb, but obviously Cobb's got a penalty, so he won't be able to get ahead of John Boy on the classification. He's now too far away from Jay to be able to take the podium place as well, so Cobb P4 for him at best in this race. But with Mike Gaming down 11th place, he's definitely not had the race here, and Cobb will still gain points on him, and so will Jay as well, so they'll all be gaining points on the championship leader here as we come away from Snetterton here tonight. But Part Pooper still leading the race by half a second right now. Jay's still trying to throw everything at him here as we've got half a lap left to go here at Snetterton. A flash of the lights there from Part Pooper and Jay as John Boy there running in third place. He's now got a second back to Cobb, so he's managed to put out a bit of a gap here over Cobb. Not massive, but you know, he's got a cushion, he's got comfort, a little bit of comfort there in that battle between those two. But Part Pooper and Jay 4/10 apart coming into the final part of the lap into Oggies for the final time here at Snetterton for race 3, the final race of the evening. And Jay's just got to throw caution to the wind, but he knows that he's got a penalty, so if he wins on the track he still won't win in the classification. Has Part Pooper picked up a penalty? No, he hasn't. He's still kept it clean. So has John Boy. Those two are going to be clean as you like, but Jay will lose out to John Boy on the time penalties. Part Pooper here clinging on by the skin of his teeth. Is Jay going to throw one down the inside into the chicane? He's too far back. He's not going to make that happen. He's going to look around the outside in towards Nelson, but once again Part Pooper's got that covered off. John Boy in third ahead of Cobb. Those two coming through your shot there. Emmafford in the background there, just coming into the chicane now, but Part Pooper Rex is coming to the final few corners here. He took his first win in the Touring Car Championship last season at Willow Springs in the feature race, the final race of the season. He's going to take what I believe is his second win at Motive here out of the last corner. He's going to hold off Jay. He's going to take a really impressive job here. Obviously he came close in the first race, in the second race should I say. He led the race for a few laps but then made a few mistakes, but Part Pooper rights those wrongs here in the final race of the evening. It's P1 for Part Pooper here at Snetterton for race 3 of the night. John Boy takes second on the time penalty ahead of Jay, who takes third in the end. Cobb over in 4th place. Emmafford is going to finish in 5th. Holds off Nick Lavilla, late charge there for Nick Lavilla, who gets P5 on the time penalty. So Nick Lavilla 5th, Emmafford in 6th. Revolt Detail is going to come through the final few corners here, and I think he's going to hold off Craig on the track, but Craig and Captain Harlock might get them on the penalties as Captain Harlock really crawling over the sausage curb there, trying to get the move done on Craig, but Revolt Detailer coming up towards the line. It's going to be P7 here for him. He will lose out on the time penalties to these two though. Craig takes 7th place, Captain Harlock in 8th, Revolt Detailer in 9th. As we see Aussie Albie's coming up towards the line. It's going to be 10th place here for Aussie Albie here in this third race of the night, and some solid points there for him. Mike Gaming though, the big surprise is that Aussie Albie takes P9 on the penalties as well. So Revolt Detailer P10th and Mike Gaming the big surprise down in 11th place. Not the race at all for him and loses points to his championship rival. The championship leader there is going to be losing quite a bit of ground here, but I think he'll still be in the championship though. But nonetheless, it's Part Pooper taking a win ahead of John Boy, followed by Jay, who completes the podium. But we'll get those championship standings up to date right about now, and we'll read those out. We'll get them up on the screen for the end. So guys, give us 5 minutes and we'll have those up very, very shortly.
Get lost sometimes and I can't seem to find a light between the walls I built for myself right in my mind. And then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. Now when I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I. Only you. Flying around. You.
For the GT3s, I'm just gonna ask for reserves to come in for the GT3s. I mean, we should have like double figures. We should still have double figures for GT3s. I'm hoping for the GT3s we should have double figures still. I'm gonna just ask for people to fill in as reserves. I'm just gonna do a bit of a shout and ask for reserves for it. Try and fill it out.
Why don't you do them, Jay? No. My new PC's coming on Monday anyway, so probably just Tuesday I'll probably set it up. Look at you, you flash bastard.
Oh, he's coming right. He sounds like Ryan now, doesn't he?
No, I'm not. I'm going to be bouncing between the PS4 and the PC.
No, Ryan says he'll be back once he's got space on his desk for his monitor. He says he'll be back, apparently.
I got space here, so yeah.
Right, championship.
What's the points looking like?
Oh, fucking hell, hold on. Okay, apparently Ryan's already done it. Mike's still pulled away, even though he came P11 in the last race.
I know he's going to be leading away, but it's going to be knowing who's going to be running the...
You know what? Cobb's only 4 points behind Mike, and you're only 30 points behind Mike, Jay. But 100 litres. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you who's in a good position here. Nick, Mike, Cobb, Jay, and John Boy still.
Fucking hell.
You suck it up, sweetheart. I should be exempt. The first race I was...
Mate, I did say, John Boy, I did say earlier, I said before the start of the season, it's not going to be fair if some Merc driver by some miracle gets into the top 4. It's going to be so unfair, them carrying 100 litres. I said it at the start of the season.
Yeah, but he came second in that race, so he was close and he wasn't far from the bloody leader, so...
It's like he has to work his bloody arse off to like get himself into the top 4, and then he gets punished for it. He's like, yeah, well done for doing so well. Now fuck you. It's like it's just not fair.
But then the thing is, we did find when we were doing the testing that this sort of weight thing works when it's sort of warmer weather because the gas will suck the tyre away quite a lot.
Yeah.
That in a way, the cold weather is helping the 100 metre guys. See what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean. Alright, standings. There we go. If you they're on the stream now anyway. Standings will be on the stream in a sec.
That might
It's
step
got
up
to
the quick, ain't it?
be closer then, the bloody
It's not too much. Yeah, it's only you're 30 points off. Cobb's only 4 points off.
Yeah, all it takes is
Sounds like you're abandoning it now.
John Boy knows about bad accidents up there.
Fucked up. Look at us, we just missed our braking point going into the last corner. Whoopsie. What happened in that place? I just got
Get
stuck.
lost sometimes and I can't seem to find a light between the walls I built for myself right in my mind. And then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. And now, when I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight, all the time to be alive. Just you and I.
Yeah, no love disrespect like Leo they ain't really got yeah.
Guys.
We were fucking out at each other.
I don't want to put pressure on you guys, but if you're in that public lobby, I don't want to always tell you, shout and scream from the rooftops. But if you see anyone clean, just if you can give them a shout to motiveracing.com or something, just anyone cleaning in public lobbies, because we're a couple short tonight. Obviously you've had Race and Ryan and that lot drop out of the championships, so find somebody who's quick and clean and whatever. Don't hesitate to poison our way, if you will. I'm just thinking GT3s, we can get double figures, but we're a little way off of full lobbies. KO Cup, we're sort of hitting 12, 13, not ideal.
Thinking about all the things we did tonight, what a time to be alive.